Hi Bear, here we are back at HCV New Drugs to talk about new and experimental drugs to treat hepatitis C. This time you can read along as we discuss a few new HCV drugs making their way down the pipeline.
Hello Bear, great to see you again. As you know, in 2011 the two protease inhibitors Hepatitis and Incivek were FDA approved. Studies show that Incivek cured 79% of patients and Hepatitis cured 69%. The term used by the medical world is SVR, or sustained virologic response. The bottom line is a patient is considered cured or has achieved SVR status when there is no detectable virus in the patient's blood for 6 months after finishing treatment.
These two new FDA-approved drugs still need to be used with standard therapy, right, Bear?
Yes, unfortunately patients still need to inject interferon and use ribavirin. But the SVR with these two drugs exceeded the old standard of care cure rates of 40 to 45% in genotype 1 patients.
What about patients who have cirrhosis? Or have failed prior standard therapy? What are the stats on reaching SVR?
Well, researchers found that Incivek, in hard-to-treat patients with hepatitis C and cirrhosis, achieved a 47% sustained viral response. These patients had genotype 1 and had previously failed the standard 2-drug regimen of pegylated interferon plus ribavirin. Check out the link below for more information.
Let's just use the term PEG, because pegylated interferon is difficult for you to pronounce. So Bear, tell me about two experimental new protease inhibitors that are in phase 3 trials, and fill me in on this cyclophilin inhibitor.
Okay, let's talk about the HCV drugs in phase 3 clinical trials that are used in combination with standard therapy or PEG and ribavirin. Currently in phase 3 trials is TMC4/3/5, a protease inhibitor from Johnson & Johnson's Tibotec unit.
Tell me about early interim results from the phase 2 trials. I remember them being released in February of 2011.
For HCV genotype 1 treatment-naive patients using TMC4/3/5, the SVR was 76 to 84%. The study was response-guided with 83% of patients being able to stop all therapy at 24 weeks.
What about the phase 3 trials?
Oh, you mean the Quest studies? TMC4/3/5 is currently being developed in 3 global phase 3 studies, Quest 1 and Quest 2, in treatment-naive patients and promising patients who have relapsed after prior interferon-based treatment. In parallel with these trials, phase 3 studies for TMC4/3/5 in Japan, in both treatment-naive and treatment-experienced hepatitis C genotype 1 infected patients, are ongoing. These phase 3 studies are fully recruited.
You forgot to mention that TMC4/3/5 is also being studied in combination with PSI 7/9/7/7. We are talking about an interferon-free combo. But more on that later. Right, little Bear?
Right. Hey Bear, let's hope that these drugs currently in phase 3 trials will give patients better tolerability, increases cure rates, with a shorter duration of therapy.
That sure is the plan. Another drug in phase 3 trials is BI-201335 from Boehringer Ingelheim. The phase 3 trial of the Boehringer drug is in combination with PEG and will include 3 treatment arms or studies. They are BI in combination with PEG plus ribavirin for 12 weeks or 24 weeks of treatment compared to 48 weeks of PEG plus ribavirin without BI. By the way, the FDA has granted Fast Track designations for BI-201335 plus standard of care, and as part of the interferon-free combination with the polymerase inhibitor, BI-20717, in chronic genotype 1 hepatitis C patients. The study is an interferon-free regimen deemed sound C2.
At the 2011 ASLD meeting, we heard that in the SILENC-1 trial of BI-2-0-1-3-3-5 with standard therapy, HCV genotype 1 treatment-naive patients achieved 82% to 84% SVR. In the trial deemed SILENC-3, HCV genotype 1 treatment-naive patients treated with BI-2-0-1-3-3-5 plus standard therapy achieved an 80% SVR in the group that was treated for 12 weeks compared to 82% in the group that was treated for 24 weeks.
You can find all this information and more by clicking on a link to HCV Advocate and HCV New Drug Pipeline provided below.
Another important drug in the mix is a cyclophilin inhibitor that disrupts the host function required for viral replication. This cyclophilin inhibitor, formerly known as DAB025, is a lispiriver from Novartis.
At the EASL in 2011, results from a Phase 2 study of 300 HCV genotype 1 treatment-naive patients who were treated with lispiriver plus PEG and ribavirin reported a 76% SVR rate in the group that was treated for 48 weeks compared to 55% in the group that received PEG plus ribavirin without lispiriver.
Right. At the ASLD meeting in 2011, we heard of an interferon-free arm of lispiriver monotherapy and lispiriver plus ribavirin. It was reported that at week 6, 49% HCV genotype 2 and 3 treatment-naive patients were HCV undetectable. This was the highest rate seen in the lispiriver plus ribavirin arms.
The word is that these three experimental drugs, TMC4, 3, 5, BI-2, 0, 1, 3, 3, 5 and lispiriver could be available in 2 years. Speaking of interferon-free, may we?
Yes, 2 drugs made headlines recently. They are sunipriver, formerly known as BMS6, 5, 0, 0, 3, 2 and decladisivir, formerly known as BMS7, 9, 0, 0, 5, 2. Both drugs are made by Bristol Myers Squibb.
A new term here is quadruple therapy. First off, the 4 drugs used in combination were sunipriver, decladisivir, PEG and ribavirin. The 10 patients treated with all 4 drugs all had undetectable viral levels 12 weeks after treatment stopped, and 9 still had undetectable levels after 24 and 48 weeks. This is where it gets exciting. Another 11 patients received only sunipriver and decladisivir, and 4 of them had a sustained virologic response at 12 and 24 weeks after treatment.
Decladisivir is the first nanosecond 5A replication complex inhibitor to be investigated in HCV clinical trials and is currently in Phase 3 development. Sunipriver is an investigational, oral, selective NS3 protease inhibitor. Please click on the link below to view the full results.
Another all-oral combination in Phase 2 trials is from Bristol Myers Squibb and Pharmacit. The experimental combo of drugs are PSI-7, 9, 7, 7 and decladisivir, formerly known as BMS7, 9, 0, 0, 5, 2.
That is right. The Phase 2 studies will evaluate the potential to achieve sustained virologic response 24 weeks post-treatment or cure with an RO, once-daily treatment regimen in patients across HCV genotypes 1, 2 and 3. Specifically, the study will assess the safety, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of BMS7, 9, 0, 0, 5, 2 in combination with PSI-7, 9, 7, 7, with and without ribavirin. In 84 treatment-naive patients chronically infected with HCV genotypes 1, 2, and 3.
Hey Bear, in November of last year they added 2 new treatment arms with 120 HCV genotype 1 treatment-naive patients. Both treatment arms will study the combination of PSI-7, 9, 7, 7 and BMS7, 9, 0, 0, 5, 2 with and without ribavirin for a total treatment duration of 12 weeks.
This brings us to the Phase 2 trial with PSI 7, 9, 7, 7 and TMC 4, 3, 5. According to the press release this past November from Diver Antibiotic, the interferon-free combination will evaluate the two combination with and without ribavirin for 12 and 24 weeks in genotype 1 patients who had a prior null response to standard therapy.
We only covered a few drugs in this video today, Bear. I hope our listeners will click on the links below to view all the new drugs in development. Advances will continue in the race for improved hepatitis C treatments, with more direct-acting antiviral combination trials to come. The dream is to cure all patients with hepatitis C, and to eliminate interferon and maybe even ribavirin from HCV therapy.
Until next time, say goodbye, Bear.
Goodbye, Bear.